Totally Nonsense on Nonsense News Nation. Totally.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids and cadets, to another riveting edition of Totally Nonsense on Nonsense News Nation. I'm your host / boy, Braden Scott Ellis. Hebrew name is Shmuel Melech.
I am the second and the co-host. I am Scott Honickman. Hello, everybody.
He doesn't have a Hebrew name, but he put a in his last name, so it counts. We'll count it. Scott, how are you doing today during this lovely pandemic that we're having?
It's not lovely, but I'm doing pretty awesome. I went and saw Brandon today at his new job. He's working with emus. Brandon works at a nature preserve, which he'll talk more about, and it was fun visiting you today.
Yeah, it's a very interesting life I live. I spend the mornings feeding the animals, feeding the beasts, as my boss likes to call them. I got bit by a sun conure the other day. So these birds that live in rainforests, they have to scream really loudly to hear each other because they could be miles away in the wild. But they're in a close cage together, and they still decide to scream. So these are annoying birds, and I feed them every day.
They look so beautiful.
And I had the fun idea of they look beautiful. It's just like, it's like Gollum. He sees the ring and he wants to touch it. And that's what happened to me. I'm like, what if I just put my finger by its beak? I don't know. I'm so used to a dog, Scott. I think all animals love me, but it bit me, and I have a mark to prove it. No, I didn't get lucky that night and get a nice hickey on my pointer finger. That was a vicious little bird that got me.
There's this... Speaking of biting, my story.
We'll get to that later. Yes, I feed the animals, and then I'll give tours of the exhibits we have. We talk a little about dinosaurs, and then I do some either tedious busy work or maintenance work or yard work. It depends. My day's always interesting. I had to sub as a teacher's assistant for a preschool early in the morning. I was afraid I wouldn't see my boy Scott, but I saw my boy Scott, and one thing I showed him, we are selling literal dinosaur eggs, hadrosaur eggs, $300 a piece. And I've been staring at those guys for a long time, and I feel bad because I have a wonderful incubator system at home, and it's not being used. And every time I go to the supermarket and try to get some eggs, they're taken because of COVID, so I have no eggs. So I thought, why not just spend $300 of my own paycheck that could be going to COVID research to getting a dinosaur egg of an animal that was long extinct that will provide no joy besides the fact that I have a giant rock in my room. So I got it, and it's beautiful, and it's wonderful, Scott. You know when someone says, a mother will say that they have their baby, but their baby's actually 27 years old, and they grew up. My baby will never grow up. It will always be an egg.
It'll always be 50 million years old.
It's like Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian's 50, and he's a baby. So why can't Hattie the Hadrosaur not be a baby? It's a baby.
What if just like in The Mandalorian, your egg started hatching and then Baby Yoda came out?
Well, that I will know then that Disney has taken over completely and handled everything.
When I was at your job, when you were showing me where the dinosaur eggs were, you showed me a cluster of them. There were 3 in the cluster, but I only saw 2. So I thought they were dinosaur butt cheeks instead of eggs. I just saw 2 gigantic circles clustered together. Dinosaurs are pretty thick.
It wasn't purple. Barney did not moon Scott.
Hi, kids. I love you.
They were dusty and gray. It was an elderly dinosaur. I mean, I guess they're all elderly now, right?
They're so old that if they got coronavirus, they'd instantly die. That's how old they are.
The dinosaur got coronavirus. If a dinosaur fossil got coronavirus, what would happen to it? It's already so old.
It would come back to life and then immediately die.
Well, Scott, it definitely wouldn't be able to breathe, that's for sure.
It might be coughing.
And speaking of not being able to breathe, my breath gets taken away every time when I see the glorious, wonderful emus at my job. Emus are like little ostriches from, I believe, Australia, and they are strange, big birds. As much as I love my emus, they're the center for some nonsense. I have a nonsense story for you, Scott. We're going to talk about some emus today.
I love emus.
How's that
I got a
sound?
picture with one of the emus today.
Really? I thought you don't like to take pictures.
I took a picture of the emu, not
Oh,
not me
wow.
with the. I lied to you, but I'll send it to you.
You're ashamed.
I knew the emo. The emo.
The emo. Listen, we have like a gray one named Salt that you probably took a picture of, and the one in the back that's hiding is Pepper. That's the emo compared to the emu.
Oh,
She's always hiding in the back, and she's just dark,
yeah.
mysterious.
I only saw one of the emus in the cage. Before you tell your story, can I tell you something funny really quick that's nonsensical?
Sure, so it's nonsensical.
So, have you heard of the dating app S'more?
Could I put it in my mouth and roast it?
I'm gonna roast you for saying that.
Okay, no, I haven't heard of it.
So you're gonna love this. So this dating app S'more is basically what you do is you upload pictures of yourself, but they're all blurred. And when you match with somebody on the app, you just talk without knowing what each other look like. And as time goes on, your pictures slowly become unblurred until you're like, I don't know, until you're ready to see what each other look like. And I was thinking of downloading the app and having all my pictures be Shrek and match with somebody. So in like a week of talking to them, they think they found their soulmate, but it's actually Shrek.
You describe yourself as this handsome, suave man, chiseled jaw, chiseled everything. Shrek. Hey, I actually spoke to a girl on a dating app that was really into Shrek. Like really into it, Scott.
Like sexually
She
and
had
romantically.
A plushie, probably. I think there was definitely a hole in the plushie's rear end. I saw one picture and I knew. But Shrek was smiling, so we know it was consensual. Anyway, can we go back to emus?
Yes.
I don't have ogres at my job. I have emus. And something special about emus is it made it as our first story of the day, because what I just discovered 5 seconds before pressing record is that there was an emu on the loose in Massachusetts City.
Massachusetts City?
That's right, the city of Massachusetts.
Actually,
I can't say Massachusetts. Did I say it right?
You did.
Okay, Massachusetts. Whew, that's a hard one. So they got reports that it's a giant bird. It's not like a robin or something. It's not like a goose. It's huge. It's not Australia where they're just used to weird animals running about. This is an emu. It's gigantic. It's scary. It's a living dinosaur.
It's like Shrek.
No joke. It's like Shrek. At least Shrek has 3 lovable movies and another one that we just don't talk about. Whereas an emu has 4 different movies that we just don't talk about. So anyway, this emu was found, and Scott, as someone who feeds them, I know the one thing they love is grapes. But I don't think they grow grapes in Massachusetts City. So the next best thing was a pear. It was lured with a pear tree, actually. So I got a quote here. It's someone named Brianna Smith, and she said, "There's a pear tree right next door. She went and got a pear and started feeding him the pear. He was loving it. It got to the point she could just pick him right up and bring to the car." The thing is, I bought the whole story until they said that they picked up the emu, or could pick up an emu. How could you pick up an emu? Are you She-Hulk?
It's like a modern day dinosaur.
Are you going to get a Disney Plus show? It's a huge, gigantic bird. They probably lay boulders for eggs, and you could lift it to your car. Are you the Hulk?
No.
Are you green and angry? Why you lift? How can you lift an emu? I need to know.
It was Thanos. Thanos used the gauntlet. Even he couldn't lift him up alone. He had to use
He had to use one of the stones. He cheated a little bit. Look over there, little one.
He told Herschel that they were going to have emu for dinner. So he used the reality stone to make it small, and then he picked it up and then brought it back.
Yeah, I feel like if Ant-Man shrunk an emu, it would still be super heavy. Also, he's Ant-Man and pathetic, so it's not like he could lift like an ant. I mean, he has to ride them because he can't even hold them.
Ant-Man.
How pathetic.
I mean, Brandon, Ant-Man has done weirder things. He's been inside of Thanos. So.
So anyway, that's my emu story. Let's ponder the question of if anyone could lift them. I don't think The Rock could even lift the emu.
Not even The Rock?
Weren't there emus in Jumanji? In the latest Jumanji, I think it was ostriches. I just know that The Rock ran away from an ostrich. And if he ran away from an ostrich, he wouldn't have a chance against an emu. They're from Australia. And Australia's a crazy place.
Yeah.
Steve Irwin was birthed there. How crazy is that?
I think he could take on Kangaroo Jack before he could take on an emu.
Australia is so crazy, Scott, that they have to put it on fire.
That's messed up.
Scott, you have a pretty hot story as well.
That's one way to say.
But not in terms of flames.
Oh.
If you're a child listening to this, please ask your parents what birds do with bees.
Brandon's story was very innocent and nice about emus, about pears, bringing them to people. My story is not so nice and E-rated 10 for everyone. So my story is about an Argentinian politician named Juan Emilio Emery.
He already sounds like a porn star. This is getting
You're
steamy.
Spoiling what the story is. So this man, Mr. Emery, like I said, an Argentinian politician, and he was on a Zoom meeting with about 15 other people, and everybody had their cameras on.
Other victims.
Everybody had their cameras on, and in the middle of the Zoom call, Mr. Emery's wife or girlfriend, I'm not sure, approached him.
Well, he's married, right? It's his name.
Well, here's the thing. In the story, it says he's a married father of 3, but then he said he was caught kissing his girlfriend. So I don't know if he's cheating on his wife or something.
Well, maybe
it's an open room.
His wife is a girl that's his friend.
Well,
sorry, I'm an innocent person who had a story about a emu getting a pear from a pear tree. So
yeah, Brandon, you like to believe
I don't have the
best.
right mindset for this story.
You need to open your mind to a world that's not as innocent as your last story.
I can't imagine it.
So we'll okay.
Time to pop my cherry. Let's see what your story is.
For the sake of the story, we'll say that he's cheating on his wife with some random girl. So it refers to this person as his girlfriend. So in the middle of the Zoom call, this girl, she approaches Mr. Emery and starts grabbing him and kissing him all over his face and his head and his neck. All the while...
His human flesh.
His flesh. And all the while his camera is on and everyone on the Zoom call can see this. So instead of telling his girlfriend to politely go away and he's on a Zoom call, he instead decides to help his girlfriend take off her shirt and her bra. And he starts making out and fondling her breasts on Zoom.
Suckling like a baby.
Like a baby, except he's not a baby. He's a 47-year-old man with the most adult job you can think of, politician.
Well, I don't know about that, Scott, but it's a political story for another podcast.
We're not political here, no.
Anyway, exactly. Anyway, Scott, I'm curious. Well, number one, how did everyone respond to this? And number 2, did they have enough tissues to get through this steamy phone call
Brandon,
or video call?
The specific quote about everyone's reaction, it says it sparked outrage and shock.
The thing is, if you assume your video camera is on, first of all, if a lot of passionate kissing and touching, it's going to... That's what it sounds like. So either he got a big gulp from 7-Eleven, or he's getting a big gulp from his.
He's getting a big gulp from his girlfriend. It
slurps, and let's say there's a little bit of milk that comes out. He's going to gulp the milk, and it's going to be very loud, Scott. I don't see how you wouldn't hear it. I would never try that, Scott. I would never try that. I'm not even a politician. I can't fathom attempting it.
Brandon, I thought you liked cereal and milk. What's wrong with this?
I don't like milk.
You don't like milk? Oh,
I don't. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
This politician ruined it for me.
I would like to say that shortly after this happened, Mr. Emery went on a local radio show, and he said he felt very ashamed and bad. He didn't know that the camera was on.
Was there any sort of he went on radio because he's with his wife, his girlfriend.
He flew all the way up to Long Island and went on WGBB.
I feel very bad as he's suckling still. He had to go on radio so people wouldn't see him like fondling his girlfriend or her fondling him.
That's right. But I'd like to end my story here because I want to talk about the real meat and potatoes of today's podcast.
We got the milk of the story, and we got the fruit from the other story with emus.
Now we're getting down.
Now we're going to go to another food group. Potatoes
and
meat
meat
together.
So the potatoes, I'd like to say, is you want to talk about Steve first, or you want to talk about the pandemic?
Yeah. So I have this friend named Steve, and he's in Super Smash Brothers. Does anyone know Minecraft? Raise your hand if you know
Minecraft.
It's the Boy Scout version. You get a badge if you kill enough
You
creepers.
know, my dad's name is
Minecraft.
You know, my dad's name is Steve. My dad didn't Smash.
You should have shouted in your house, Steve's in Smash. What, Scotty? What are you saying? Tell me.
I gotta walk the dog and drink some water. Anyway, so Steve, not only did Steve from Minecraft get in Smash, was announced for Smash, there was also Alex, the female version, and then
female Steve.
And then
if your dad was a female, we'd call him Alex, and it's really funny because your sister's name's Alexa.
This is so strange. You're scaring me. And my mom's name is Enderman. It's so weird.
What? That's her name, Enderman?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. That's the name of another Minecraft character.
Yeah, which is also in Smash.
You tricked me.
I was super shocked and surprised when I saw Steve in the trailer just freaking mining the blocks, and then I saw his face.
Very shocking. I remember I was at work, I was in the break room eating my sandwich as losers do, and I got a text from my dear boy Scotty Honigman. You're Jewish,
That's
I
right.
forgot. And he said, Minecraft Steve is in Smash. And I didn't believe it, so I texted my brother, and I asked him to just confirm it, because Scott, he's a goofball. He's a little bit of a clown sometimes. And he confirmed it, and I couldn't believe it, and I saw the trailer when I got home. Well, first I had to listen to the new Gorillaz song with Elton John, because that's a big deal, let's be honest.
Elton John is in a Gorillaz song?
Yeah, and then right before that was Robert Smith of The Cure, which was a dream combination. So that was awesome. Anyway, back to Minecraft and my Let's Play here. So the trailer was just crazy, Scott. It was. You can build blocks in the stage. I don't believe that. And every move is just perfect to Minecraft and its final smash. It's a little Minecraft house with TNTs and creepers. It's a terrible way to die. And it's just, you really sense the love for Minecraft. And whether you love or hate it, you have to acknowledge its impact on gaming and the current generation.
It's the best-selling video game of all time. Did you know that?
Of all time,
200 million copies have been sold.
So, I mean, rightfully, it should be in Smash, and you could get it on, like...
everything.
On the Switch or whatever, so it fits.
Have you played Minecraft a lot?
I used to play when it came out back in 2011.
Oh, for Xbox? When it came out?
No, for my iPod Touch. Of course. I made a really tall building or whatever, but it was made of all wood.
And then it burned down?
Yeah, it took one lava break by accident, and that was it. My love for Minecraft ended. I'm not sure I'll even play as Steve because of that traumatic experience, but I'm glad he's in Smash.
It's super... He deserves to be in Smash. Like you said, love him or hate him. Minecraft has had a massive impact on video game culture.
Scott, speaking of Smash... Sony is smashing their Spider-Man franchise into the ground. Because I have some news.
Is this breaking news?
Do you remember, this is breaking. Well, Sony broke Spider-Man in their franchise, so I didn't really do it. But I'm going to break the news to you, Scott. What's your favorite Spider-Man movie?
Ever?
What's your favorite Spider-Man movie that from the 2010s that came out specifically in 2014?
What?
What's your favorite movie out of all of the Spider-Man movies that came out in 2014?
Wasn't that Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, it's your favorite one that came out in 2014, Scott. You loved it so much.
Doesn't have much competition.
Compared to the other Spider-Man movies that came out in 2014.
Maybe some animated movies.
So anyway, if you don't remember it, Andrew Garfield was in it, and Jamie Foxx was Electro, and he was this really cringy fanboy, and he loved Spider-Man, and he became Electro, and Spider-Man was trying to help him in Times Square, and then Electro started freaking out and saying, like, they love Spider-Man, but they don't love me, so I'm going to be evil. And that was his villain. That was his character, and it was horrendous. They had this crazy, awful song, I think, by Pharrell.
Yeah.
And, like, it was trying to, like, describe the scene, so you would hear schizophrenic, paranoia, schizophrenic, as he's, like, looking around. But it came off as, like, again, I hate saying the word, cringy, because that is what it was. The whole movie was absolutely
Why are we
cringe,
talking
and it
about this
killed
movie?
the franchise. Because there is current news about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. You see, it is confirmed that Jamie Foxx's Electro will return in the new Spider-Man movie, the third Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland. That's right.
I thought they tried to make all those universes separate.
Not anymore, because Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man, and they just want to pump it out. They just want to make their money and get something recognizable. They couldn't get Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. They couldn't get Dr. Octopus. They couldn't even get Sandman. They got Jamie Foxx as Electro, because he kind of disappeared at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's assumed that he was murdered, but since Spider-Man doesn't murder, maybe they'll retroactively cancel his murder by bringing him back and saying he was teleported to another dimension or something, and so they can milk the franchise for what it's worth. So yeah, Jamie Foxx is back. He's going to be back in the Spider-Man world, and we're just so happy.
Are we? Because it seems like you don't like his character.
No one does, Scott. Do you like him?
I don't remember that movie that much. I remember Emma Stone was in it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, she was MJ.
And they Emma Stoned her character by killing her
off.
Oh,
yeah, and she fell all the way down the shaft.
But while unfortunately Gwen Stacy couldn't make it, at least we have Jamie Foxx as Electro. At least he pulled through. Remember that line? Remember it was his birthday, and then he goes to Spider-Man, "It's my birthday, and now it's time to light my candles." And then he uses his electric powers, metaphorically, to light the candles of his birthday.
No, I don't remember that at all.
Oh, you're missing out, man.
I'm missing out. It sounds like you don't like that movie at all.
No, it's horrendous. And I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, so that's saying something. Anyway, Scott, cheer me up by mentioning our last thing.
Yeah, I would... I'm going to cheer myself up, too. On Wednesday night, South Park released an hour-long special called The Pandemic Special. And me and Brandon both watched it, and it was like one of the funniest South Park things I've ever seen in my whole life. It was absolutely amazing. So,
if you missed the previous podcast, what makes recent specials in South Park so special is one of the main characters, Randy Marsh, owns a weed farm called Integrity Farms. And when he has a special brand of weed for a limited time only, he refers to it as a special. So like the Halloween special is an example during Halloween. So it's like an actual South Park special, but in the plot of the show, there is something called the Halloween special, which is a special strand of weed. And Integrity Farms is a huge hit in the land of South Park. Everyone loves it. But we kind of see a dark side of Tegrity. We realize that there's not that much integrity with Tegrity, because Randy may or may not have, spoilers for the special, by the way, I'll let you leave if you haven't seen it, he may or may not have released the coronavirus to the entire population outside of China.
Let me tell you how he did that. So... I think it was last season, Randy Marsh went to China to sell his Tegrity weed, and he ended up getting arrested and thrown in jail, and he met up with Mickey Mouse. And he was in China that whole episode. And in the pandemic special that just aired, Randy Marsh finds out on TV that a bat from Wuhan, China, was most likely the cause of the coronavirus. And when he hears that, he starts freaking out. And there's a flashback, and it shows him getting really drunk and stoned with Mickey Mouse. And he meets up. He's in like a bar, and he sees the bat from Wuhan just like alone in the bar, smoking a cigar. And Randy ends up having sex with it. and then later on in the episode, they say on TV that it probably wasn't a bat, and Randy feels so relieved.
He's like, in your face.
He's like gloating.
It's not a bat.
He's gloating.
Yeah.
And then in the same breath on TV, they say it's not a bat because it's most likely a pangolin. And then Randy's wife's in the room with them, and she's like, "What's a pangolin?" And Randy is like, in his mind, he's thinking about. He goes back to China,
another flashback.
Where in the flashback he also has sex with a pangolin.
No, so Mickey, he's like, if you could have sex with a bat, I got something real hard for you, real special. And he dares him to have relations with the pangolin. It's so funny in the episode. So he tries to steal the penguin so no one finds out. So they're like, well, someone went up inside it. And they're like, who would mate with a penguin? Look at it. And they start laughing. And Randy gets really embarrassed.
Randy's like, come on, it's not that ugly.
Because he had sex with it. Yeah. So funny. I like the part where he's walking down the street.
Yeah.
And some guy is just like, hey man, you're Randy Marsh, right? And he's just like, my wife passed away. She got the coronavirus. But, your pandemic special really just been getting me through.
And he's like, he knows that he might be the cause of the whole pandemic, so he tries to get away from that guy.
It was so funny.
But one of the other best parts in the episode is when Randy finds out that his DNA could cure the coronavirus. So he starts putting some of his own DNA inside of the pandemic special weed. I'm not going to tell you exactly what he does. I was tearing up at the end of the pandemic special because Stan was talking about realistically what it's like to live right now, and he got very, very real.
He just wants to have his life back, and he just wants to actually enjoy life and have fun. And in all seriousness, it's very hard. Yeah, I mean, all things considering, I'm very blessed with what I have right now. I wouldn't have it any other way, but it would be nice just to go back to some normalcy. It's hard to believe that we're in this scenario, but you know what gives me hope, Scott?
Our show,
and the fact that I could feed emus pears, and I could carry them to my car if I just got a pear.
Dude, something about that special at the end where Cartman was about to kill the pangolin because if he killed it, it meant that they couldn't research it.
Build-A-Bear shredder.
Yeah, if he were to kill the pangolin, that means they couldn't research it, and Cartman wouldn't have to go back to school, which was the only thing he was concerned about. But then after Stan was just like, "I'm so upset. I hate how things are. I just want my life back." That was like the only time in South Park, I think, when Cartman did something nice for somebody else.
Yeah, it was surprising. Yeah, but like, I couldn't imagine them ending on like a bad note. I thought there would maybe be a cure, and then like they'd come back once we actually got resolved with this pandemic. But no, Mr. Garrison, who is Trump in the South Park universe, he gets a flamethrower and burns alive the scientist holding the pangolin and the pangolin itself. And he goes, "You better start voting. There's an important election," as he burned the only cure.
And it's so weird because obviously we don't get political here. But as of recording this yesterday, Donald Trump was diagnosed with COVID.
Tested positive for COVID-19, yeah.
2 days after that special came out. Isn't that crazy?
It is kind of funny, yeah. Well, we won't get too political, but either way, COVID sucks, and also emus suck. They suck pears. And Argentinian politicians suck. They suck the teat of their girlfriends. What else sucks? What else did we talk about?
Minecraft and Smash does not suck.
Minecraft does not suck because it's the most popular game ever. And yeah, South Park doesn't suck because it's a pretty great special. We hope everyone enjoyed the podcast. I know I sure didn't. If you want to hear more from us, I sure hope you do. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and YouTubes. We have a website, nonsensnewsnation.com. That must mean we are a big deal. At least to me we are. And we have some social media outlets if you want to look at and see what we do. We do some things every now and then. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And if you want to contact us personally and talk to us about your own recipe for bringing emus into your car, because I would really like to know. I literally work with emus every day. This is important to me. You can contact us at nonsensnewsradio@gmail.com. That is nonsensnewsradio@gmail.com. Once again, I've been Brandon Ellis.
I've been Scott Brandon Ellis.
And this was Totally Nonsense on Nonsense News Nation. We'll see you next time. Peace and love.
Bye.